Every day, a millionaire vanishes into an abandoned garage with a young black girl by his side. No one knows why. The neighbors whisper, their curiosity turning into suspicion. What could a wealthy man possibly want in a place like that? And why does the girl always look over her shoulder as if afraid of being seen? Then one evening, a neighbor decides to follow them. What they discover inside will change everything. Stay with me, because this story isn't just shocking. It reveals an unsettling truth about race, privilege, and the secrets some people will do anything to hide. The old garage sat at the end of a quiet street, forgotten by time. Its rusted doors groaned in the wind, and shattered windows hinted at a past long abandoned. No one ever went inside until he arrived. Graham Whitaker, a self-made millionaire, wasn't the type to be seen in places like this. He owned real estate, luxury cars, businesses. But every evening, just as the sun dipped behind the rooftops, he parked his sleek black sedan outside the crumbling garage, and he wasn't alone. By his side, a young black girl, maybe 12, maybe younger. She never spoke, never made eye contact, always glancing over her shoulder, always clinging to his side. Neighbors noticed. Whispers turned into theories. Suspicion grew. What was a rich man doing sneaking into a place like that? With her? For weeks, neighbors watched Graham Whitaker slip into the abandoned garage with the young black girl. No explanation, no answers. Just the same routine. His luxury car pulling up, the girl hesitating before following him inside, the rusted doors clanking shut behind them. At first, people shrugged it off. Maybe he was renovating the place. Maybe she was his daughter or a family friend. But the rumors didn't stop because something didn't feel right. Mrs. Kensington, who lived across the street, was the first to call it out. A rich man sneaking into an abandoned building with a little black girl? That's not normal. The way she said it, not just suspicious, but disgusted, it spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. One evening, curiosity turned into action. A neighbor, Mr. Douglas, decided to wait outside, hidden behind a parked car. When Graham arrived, the girl stepped out of the car slower than usual. She looked around, hesitated, then followed him inside. That was it. Enough was enough. The next day, a group of neighbors gathered. Some whispered theories. Is she being trafficked? Is he hiding something? Why hasn't anyone called the cops? Others simply watched, waiting for someone else to take action. Then someone did. A call was made. There's a suspicious man going into an abandoned building with a little girl every night. I don't know what's happening in there, but it's not right. Minutes later, sirens cut through the quiet street. Blue and red lights flashed against the garage's rusted metal. And just as Graham and the girl stepped outside, they were surrounded. Hands where we can see them! The girl flinched, gripping Graham's arm as officers moved in. And just like that, what started as whispers had become something far more dangerous. The officers moved in fast, guns drawn, voices sharp. Step away from the girl! Hands where we can see them! Graham barely had time to react before rough hands shoved him against the rusted garage door. Cold metal snapped around his wrists. The girl screamed, reaching for him, but an officer blocked her. It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now. Safe? Graham turned, his voice hoarse. You don't understand. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. The neighbors stood frozen, watching, some nodding in approval, others recording on their phones. Mrs. Kensington muttered, I knew it. A black girl with a white man in a place like this? Something had to be wrong. The girl, trembling, tried to speak. Please! He didn't do anything! But no one listened. Then, a sound. A rusted lock turning. The garage door creaked open. And inside, the truth stood in plain sight. Stacks of blankets, a small cot, bags of groceries, a backpack, a home. Not a crime scene, not a secret hideaway, a place of safety. And suddenly, the weight of what was happening crushed down on everyone. Because the real crime wasn't what they thought. The officers hesitated, staring at the makeshift shelter inside the garage. The girl's hands trembled as she clutched Graham's arm. He was helping me, she finally managed to say. I had nowhere else to go. Silence. Then a shift. The realization settling in. They had gotten it all wrong. Graham had been hiding nothing, except a child the world had already failed, a foster system that had abandoned her, a city that looked the other way. He had given her food, shelter, safety, but to them, a rich white man and a black girl in an abandoned garage could only mean one thing: something sinister. The officers unlatched the cuffs. The neighbors, once so sure of their suspicions, now stood in shameful silence. But shame couldn't erase what had already happened, because this wasn't just about Graham or the girl. It was about the assumptions people make, the way society sees black children as victims until they become suspects, the way a white man's presence is questioned only when he's standing beside them. Graham took the girl's hand and led her away. No apology, no explanation. Because in the end, the truth didn't need defending. But the question still lingers. How many more stories like this will unfold before people stop seeing color first and humanity second?